You know the feeling. We've all been there. Life just happens. Maybe it's a vacation, a crazy month at work, or you just flat out need a break. But if you're serious about the gym, that time off always comes with that nagging little voice in the back of your head. Are all my gains just gonna disappear?
It's the classic question, right? Is all that time, all that sweat, all that effort just going to vanish because you took a few weeks off? Well, today, we're going to stop guessing and actually see what the science has to say about it.
All right, let's kick things off by tackling one of the biggest mental roadblocks out there. This idea that if you can't be perfect with your training, you might as well just do nothing. I mean, this all-or-nothing thinking is so common. You miss a Monday workout and suddenly the whole week feels like a write-off. We've convinced ourselves that one little break will undo months of hard work. But what if that's just wrong? Well, a recent study decided to find out for sure. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Scientists basically set up a head-to-head battle to see what actually happens when you compare training non-stop versus training with a big break baked right into the middle. So, picture this. Researchers in Finland grab a group of people who hadn't really trained before, and they put them into this really cool 30-week experiment. It was all meticulously planned out to track exactly what happened on two very different fitness journeys. Okay, so here's the setup. They split everyone into two teams. First, you have Team Break. These guys trained for 10 weeks, then took a full 10 weeks completely off, no gym, and then came back for another 10 weeks of training. Then you have Team Continuous. They just live their normal life for 10 weeks and then train for 20 weeks straight. Now here's the most important part. Both teams trained for the exact same amount of time in total, 20 weeks. And here's the kicker. Even the scientists running the show had a favorite. They put their money on Team Continuous. They totally predicted that the group that trained without stopping would come out on top. They were betting against the break. So let's follow the story of Team Break. What actually went down when they hit the gym like crazy and then just stopped cold turkey? So, in that first 10-week block, everything went exactly how you'd think. You're looking at the results for Team Break here. That's the blue line. See how from week 0 to week 10, it just shoots straight up? They were getting bigger, getting stronger, totally predictable. But then, the break happened. And this part of the graph is basically every gym goer's nightmare fuel. Look at that blue line between week 10 and week 20. It just takes a nosedive. The progress they made started to melt away. And we're not talking about a tiny little dip. To put a real number on it, their thigh muscle size shrank by almost 10%. That's a loss you can absolutely see and feel. But here's a really fascinating little twist. While their muscles got visibly smaller, their actual strength didn't fall off nearly as hard. So what does that mean? It kind of suggests that some of those strength gains, maybe the ones wired into your nervous system, are a lot tougher and more resilient than muscle size itself. So at this point in the story, it's looking pretty bad for Team Break, right? It seems like the scientists were totally right. But then came the comeback, and it was the most surprising part of the entire experiment. So when Team Break finally got back into the gym for that last 10-week block, something absolutely wild happened. Just look at that V-shape on the graph. Their progress didn't just slowly inch back up, it completely exploded. In fact, the rebound was shockingly fast. Get this, in just 5 weeks, that's half the time they took off, they had already regained everything they lost. They were right back at their peak, like the break hardly happened. And this chart right here is just stunning. On the left, Team Break, the ones who took time off, their thigh muscles grew by over 15% in that last training block. Now compare that to Team Continuous on the right, who remember, trained nonstop. They only grew by about 3%. That means the group that took a break was now making gains nearly 5 times faster. It's crazy. So what in the world is this magic? Well, it has a name, skeletal muscle memory. And it's this incredible built-in ability of your muscles to just snap back, to rebuild much, much more quickly if they've been there before. It's like your body never truly forgets the work you put in. Okay, so we've seen the scary dip and the amazing rebound, but after 30 long weeks, after 2 totally different journeys, who actually came out ahead? Take a look at the whole 30-week story now. That blue line is Team Break, with its wild roller coaster dip and recovery. The red line is Team Continuous, with their slow and steady climb. But now, follow both of those lines all the way to the end, to the 30-week mark. Just look at where they finish. They are practically in the exact same spot. And that was the jaw-dropping conclusion of the entire study. Despite taking a massive 10-week break right in the middle, Team Break ended up with pretty much the exact same amount of total muscle and strength as the team that never stopped training at all.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The researchers themselves wrapped it up perfectly. In their own words, we shouldn't be too concerned about occasional short-term training breaks. Our bodies are just way more resilient than we give them credit for.
So let's just boil this down. What does this all mean for you? Well, first, you can relax. A big break, even up to 10 weeks, is not going to destroy your long-term progress. Second, that muscle memory thing, it is absolutely real and it will be your best friend when you get back to it. And maybe the biggest lesson of all, this whole thing is a marathon, not a sprint. Long-term consistency beats short-term perfection every single time.
And this all leaves us with one last, really provocative thought. We always think of a break from the gym as a failure, a setback. But what if this study is showing us something else? What if a break can actually resensitize your muscles, making them primed for faster growth when you come back? Could we start thinking of planned, strategic breaks not as a problem, but as a powerful tool?